Guess who's back? I mean, well, hold on. I want to start off with no copyright infringements by quoting rap lyrics. Listen, that's how we gonna start, brother. I'm just happy all the channels kicked off.
That's
We got
awesome.
yes, we are live everywhere. Listen, technologists form me and come on, brother. Look at Greg over there, just looking good. Mr. Russell is in the building. We're gonna have a
Thanks, bro.
conversation by creatives for creatives and are open to conversation, open to discussion. We're gonna go and get right into it, man. We're gonna go and get right into it. So today we want to talk all things security. And Greg, you always come specifically with the business centric perspective and the entrepreneur perspective, and that's what I love that piece. I'm gonna sprinkle in on top of that some of the creator side as well of how we should be and what we should be doing, and just add some instigating questions and statements just to keep the conversation going. But from the topic perspective, let's talk about that right now. All things security and running a business, especially in these digital streets. What is that? What first comes to mind when you think about that? To making sure that you're secure in your actions, your documentation, your contracts, just all things security. What does that mean for you as a business owner today in 2025/26?
First thing that comes to mind is being able to get into your accounts, right? So I have, and I'm not saying no names,
You
but I
gonna
got
start off
family
like that?
members.
Okay, we gonna you
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah, yeah. I got family members and friends, and trying to get into certain accounts, they always are losing their password or can't find it, have to reset it. Um, and from the business perspective, that takes up time, and a lot of people don't realize how much time that may take up. And there was a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes, and he was talking that if you have to relog, re-find information, right, revisit something, he was specifically just talking about email. And he was like, if it takes you 2 minutes to go re-find the email and respond, he said, if it only takes you 2 to 3 minutes every time you have to do this, or so many times a week, he said you will waste up to 2 weeks of time. Those minutes added up over a year, you can waste up to 2 weeks of time just revisiting things. So the Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes is one of my foundational books that I recommend every business owner read. And that, when it comes to security and you think about getting into these accounts, because there's more accounts now than you will have than ever before. You got your emails, your websites, um, your entertainment accounts, your Facebook account, your social accounts, like everything has an account. And I try to, think about it as, think of these username and passwords as important as your car keys, right? It's like your car keys allow you to get from A to B, right?
Mm.
Without your car keys, that car can't get you from A to B. So think about your access to these accounts as important as your car keys. You wouldn't be thinking, just weren't throwing your car keys and not really worrying about where they land. You're going to put them up somewhere so you know where to get them. Same thing with your username and passwords for each of these accounts. You need to know where they are so you can get access to them. We recommend password managers, but
Yeah.
again, each person is different. But if you start to then realize this is important for me to get in and I don't want to waste time, then it's important that you lock down how you're going to get in and out of these accounts.
You know,
So
and it's
I'd
so
start
easy.
there.
No, it's so easy. So I'm gonna do the doubting Thomas conversation, and I trust me, I don't do this, but I want to bring it up anyway. It's so easy to use the same password everywhere, though. Lord have mercy, right? If I just use the same password, then it's easier on me. I can come up with a alphanumeric and special character, but it don't even sound right coming out of my mouth. So it's hard for me to say that with a straight face, especially in today's world where yes, a algorithm or even a human, I know how to crack password. And listen, I don't know a lot, but I I could crack your password in a couple of days. Some of these algorithms, some of these tools can do it in a couple of minutes. So having a password that's your name spelled backwards, or Russell have instead of the L's using ones, or something like that. Just don't do it, folks. Right? Just don't do it. Don't write it down. Oh Lord, don't have it written down in your wallet or in that top right drawer of your desk on a yellow sticky note, because that's the second place I'm gonna look if I'm trying to
Hmm.
do some dirt in your environment. Um, I know you don't do that. I'm sure you consult your people as well to you started talking about using password managers, applications, and platforms. I use one that I really like, but we were talking about a couple of others. Let's talk about some of the offerings that are out there, especially for password. I think that conversation right there matters to business owners, individuals, creators, just everyone out there who's doing any commerce online today as well, right? What's ones that you use or that you like?
So you said something before I tell you the ones I like. There's three.
Hmm.
But before that, you can actually check your password. And this is something I did years ago. You can just go on Google and say, password checker, and it'll tell you how fast someone can crack your password, right? So you can go in there and you can just put your password in there and say how fast. And these devices, and this was even before AI, so I'm just just imagine it'll tell you how fast you can do your password. So if you're using the same one, just like your name or a word or whatever, there's lots of different algorithms that people use to come up with a very simple password that they can remember. The challenge is a lot of times they can get hacked very, very fast,
Hmm.
usually within a matter of hours, right? Um, so the reason why you want to maybe consider what I'm about to share you with these password managers is because when I realized how fast someone could crack a password, I was like, okay, I can't, I just, I can't, I have to use something more secure. And so then that's what made me think about using these password managers. The password managers literally allow you to create one really good secure password that you can remember, and then it will create extremely long, extremely complicated
Yeah.
passwords that typically can't get cracked within years, right? And so you go from a password that can get cracked within minutes to hours to a password that can't get cracked for years. And that for each different site, the password manager will create a unique password that allow you to store and save it within the manager that it'll use for all your different sites. So instead of having the same one for multiple sites, you have a very complicated different one for each site. So the password managers, the one that I like the most is called LastPass,
I'm glad you
and their
said that one.
name, yeah, LastPass, and it is supposed to the name kind of says it's the last password you ever remember. Remember this really good one, and it will be a good password manager. One of the reasons that I like this one is because um, it if you do the family plan, you can have up to multiple people on it. You could also share passwords with people who also have LastPass. Not share passwords, but you can share access to your accounts, and they can have their own within their own LastPass manager. They can get into certain accounts. And the last one was it also has a mobile device, so I could get into my accounts
Yeah.
from my mobile device. And so those are the reasons why I particularly like LastPass. I've been using it for years, and that's what I recommend for a password manager.
I like having multiple to choose from when I'm talking to clients and talking to folks that are looking for technology decisions. But there's always that one go to, and I as well. I use LastPass, right? I've actually
Yep.
forgotten my master password before. Listen,
Oh, how'd that go?
listen. I'm old man. I forget these things every now and then. But within the system, I do have the ability. I had a reminder, right? So if you forget it, you have a reminder set up in the system. So I said, okay, now I remember what it was, and there were some semantics in lowercase and uppercase, and using numbers instead of ones, that kind of thing. So I got it back after a few days, but having that security, and again, if I have to try to remember every single password, or if I was crazy and use the same password for all of my financial, all of my social, all of my whatever logins, that just wouldn't be smart. The pricing is right too. I didn't do the family. I was being selfish. I just did me. But see now, somebody's going in my family's probably going to watch this and be like, "Man, you should have at least hook us up." Dad, at least be secure for the family as well. but the
Well,
pri-
well,
and
well.
I
Think about yeah, man. Think about it. If something happens to you or someone in your family, and you need to get access to certain accounts that they created the password for, and God forbid, they're incapacitated for whatever
yeah,
reason. Now you're locked out, and you can't even get in. Especially now where they have things like the biometrics, where you need the
yeah.
fingerprint or the face scan. If they're not available, you can't get into those accounts. So the family plan makes sense in my opinion, especially for couples where they have shared accounts for certain things that both parties can get into that account. So that's one of the reasons why I like the another one of the reasons why I like LastPass as one of the top password
All
managers.
right, see, you're making me feel bad now. God, you put a little blame game. I will upgrade. I'm not gonna do it online because if I log on, it'll pull up all my stuff. But yes, let it be written, let it be done. I will do the family plan for LastPass, and appreciate you for breaking that down as well. One password is another one that we
Yes,
hear a lot of
sir.
folks talk about. I mean, there's about three of them out there. So LastPass, one password, and then you also recommended one called RoboForm.
RoboForm. Yes.
What's the
In
thing or the feature functionality that makes you choose one over the other, right? Why of these top three? What's the one that the Russell House uses over the others?
The reason why, was for the reasons I said, like the family plan, the teams plan, I could have a
Mm,
team to get into stuff. And LastPass was one of the first ones that had that feature, right? And so at the time, the others didn't have that feature, or there was something about it that I didn't like. So LastPass became my go-to. However, one password is a very popular one as well, and RoboForm is another one. RoboForm started out as just being able to fill out your forms, faster, right? And then it went into passwords, right? It was just filling out forms. You come online, you need to fill out a form, hit the button, it automatically fills out your form, right? And you can move on. And then they merged into the password field as well. But RoboForm initially was just um, a software you put on your computer to help you fill out forms faster. And it is a popular one as well.
yeah, I would say having a mobile app is critical for me. It's not even a want, it's a need, right? Because not as many times am I necessarily at the desktop, in the studio, in the office, in front of the computer. We walk around with these phones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and being able to have a secure connection on my mobile device that has something that we can talk about as well, 2FA, two-factor authentication. So if I'm logging into my Capital One account, it's asking to authenticate. It hits my mobile phone, does the biometric, right? Does the face scan, and then it logs into my account. That's that whole cycle of securing that access to my information. And I know LastPass has it. I'm sure One Password has it. I don't know if RoboForm, because this is the first time that I've heard about it, but I'll check that out as well. But do you use the mobile connectivity and capability as well, or was there other things that you look at and say these are the needs as opposed to just the wants when looking at these applications platforms?
Sharing
Mm,
sharing access to things that I need for my team and or family was the one, and then the mobile app was two. Those were the two big ones that really sold it for me for LastPass. And just like you, I'm not familiar if RoboForm has that or not. I've seen some clients use it. It seems to be very robust as well, but I'm not familiar with it because I don't use it as much. I mean, I don't
okay,
use it at all.
okay. They don't use too many now. Just have one.
Nah, just the LastPass is my go-to.
They don't have too many master passwords, and you mess around and be like me, and you forget it, and you can't get into. Lord have mercy. Then you can't get into your Netflix account, and your kids are yelling at you. Uh,
All
real
of
world
all of that.
situation. Real world
So let
situation.
me so let me give you a hack, right? If you have a favorite song
Yeah,
and you can find a line in this favorite song that has a number in it, or the word two, right? The word two, a favorite song that has, the whatever the line has the word two, then you can use that initials of that song, and where it has the word two in that song, you can put the number two, and then at the end of it, use a exclamation point or a percentage sign or something. And if this is one of your favorite songs, because most songs have the word two in it,
yeah.
then that line, you can, whatever the initials are for that line, and you can decide which ones are going to be capital. Now, remember, this is your favorite song, so you're going to remember, right? And change the word two to the number two. So now you have letters, you have a number two. It's different from anything you like. It's not your birthday, it's not your thing. It's just the line in the song. And then there you go.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So I
So,
got my song up. We're gonna do this.
yeah, okay.
We're gonna do a Doubting Thomas right here. So my song, Change Gonna Come by Sam Cooke.
Okay.
But you ain't ready for this. Here. So you thought I was gonna pick something else. Then you ain't ready for this. Favorite song, I did a search for the word two. So it's been too hard living. How about that? So there's my line. What's my action item here? So there's my line. It's
All right.
been too hard living.
Okay. So now, out of those words, which one would you like to capitalize? It could be the first one, right? If it's this line,
Mm.
um, you let me know.
Living.
All right. So then the password could be IB number two H capital L dollar sign.
Well, that's hard, brother. Oh, hold on. I see where you're going. Okay.
All you gotta do is remember where you read the capital and which unique character you're gonna do.
I be the number two. Okay.
Right. And if the line is longer, you get more characters. But it's your favorite song, so you remember the line. Like it's
Yeah.
just, you know.
I'm gonna be walking around the bank and the teller singing my song, and people gonna be like, "What, Lord, what's wrong with him? He over here reciting Sam Cooke, trying
There
to
you
get his
go.
little $20 out." Okay.
There you go.
Hey, it's John Greg
And
Russell
most
with the
most
hat.
lines, most songs will have a line with the word two in it. That's just, or the word for, FOR, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you can find your, and as long as it's a song that if it's your favorite song or a song you really like, you'll remember because you already know the words to it. So that's a little hack. That's one thing you can do.
I'm gonna let you know how it works out. I'm not gonna. Man, let's see. No, I'm not. I didn't. I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna make the recommendation to somebody and see if it works. But I got my song and I got my line here, and we'll see. Listen, we international, ladies and gentlemen. We got into trading coming in from. And you in Vietnam or yeah, I think he in Vietnam. He's got a statement here. He's saying off topic though, but Missing Letter is a social media management tool that he uses. One of the best parts is the curate library, where other people share your post on their social media accounts. Free marketing. But you over here doing commercials for Missing Letter, brother. This we talking security today. Okay. I'm gonna leave him alone. See, he in the future. He over across the pond right now. But appreciate you for jumping in. But Lord have mercy.
Yes,
He
sir.
doing. Okay. All things security. We talk password managers. We got our three recommendations. I'll make sure to put links in the description so folks can see those. Um, Account protection. Just how do you protect your accounts from phishing, from ransomware? How do you ensure that you've got encryption turned on? What are some of the best practices that you do, both from a personal side and from a professional side? So business and just Russell household. But we're not gonna put all your business in the streets now. But
I
what are
appreciate
some
that.
of the things that you do from a security perspective to make sure that your accounts are protected outside of just password protection and password management?
So the first thing is your actual internet service you get from whatever company. Make sure that the internet to get onto your internet, the Wi-Fi on your house has security on it, and make sure it has a high encryption password and a high encryption way for you to access it. So it sometimes can be technical to get into that. Usually the people that set up your internet definitely know how to do it. There are, once you look up your router or your modem, you can look how to get into that account and make sure you have a secure password and encryption on, so that people in your neighborhood cannot just jump on your Wi-Fi. So when you ask me that question, the first thing is secure your own internet access and Wi-Fi at your house. That's the first thing you can do, because if you don't, then people can track how, people can get onto your network and track the keys you enter to get into your certain
Hmm.
accounts, and that's how some things get hacked.
It's a lot easier to do that. And again, yeah, I'm coming with the argument conversation. It's a lot easier to do that when you buy third party infrastructure. When you go out and buy the Orbeez or the Linksys, or right when you go get the gear yourself from Best Buy and Amazon or whatever, as opposed to the stuff you get from Xfinity, Spectrum, because that's by default that's tightly controlled already. They've got the SSID, they've got the password, and it's harder for the individual, the non-technical individual, to make those changes. So what do you recommend? And again, I don't want to put all your business out there, but I'll tell you mine. Do you use the Xfinity, the Comcast, the Spectrum, whomever? Do you use that infrastructure, the AT&T or whatever, or what do you use for your stuff?
I do,
Hmm.
because I have to.
Okay.
Um, so I got the fastest internet that they will sell me. If they would have a higher plan, I would upgrade. So that is the fiber optic internet, and with that, you have to use their modem. So I have to use what they give me. I can't get a third party one. In the past, when I was able to do the third party one, I did. I would go to Best Buy and I would get the most advanced one that I could buy. I think it was called a Blackhawk at the time.
Mhm.
Um, and most people may not want to spend three or $400 on a router. But at the time, again, like for me, I make my living on the internet, right? So
Mhm.
it's not something I do after work. It's not something I'm gaming. No, this is how I make my living. So I have to have the most fastest internet access possible, because when we're doing things like this, when we're streaming, the internet companies like to sell you the download speed and how fast it is download. That's great, but when you're streaming, it's the upload speed that's the most important. And so that
That one is
router has
the
to be able to
upload is
work.
never talked about in marketing, right? I mean,
No,
those numbers are never talked about in the market. It's always what you get coming down. I don't care about that. I don't
that's
care.
right.
I need the data coming out of my studio has to be pristine. I need to see
Right.
Greg Russell right now. He's in 2K. I need to see him in pristine quality going out to about 8 streams that we're going out to right now.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so at the time I got the Black Hawk, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was called, and but at now I have to use the fiber optic modem they give me. But it's been working out fine, and it is it has gotten easier to get into those accounts and make
Yeah.
changes now. Technology has gotten a little bit easier. I do rely on YouTube videos. When you're not sure, you can go to YouTube, and if you ask a specific question, how do I change this on this type of modem or this type of router, there's typically videos out there. And the other thing is, try to find videos that are less than a year old, because
Mhm.
sometimes the older ones are on older firmware, later updates. And so you get in there and it doesn't look exactly the same. And if you're not a tech person, knowing what those things are, it can be very frustrating as you're trying to figure out what it is. So usually videos within the last year are usually will help you be able to figure those things out. So don't hesitate from going to YouTube. The other thing too is, if you spend more than I tell my clients this all the time. If you spend more than 30 minutes trying to figure out and you're starting to get frustrated, call someone, right? Like, stop trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
There's people out there who know it. If you can find it on YouTube, reach out to someone. A lot of times the younger generation knows this stuff. Like, so you may have a nephew or a cousin, or, somebody in your family or somebody who can just help you and make it go that much faster. Don't be afraid to reach out to the people right?
Yeah, you was about to say one of them YNs. I know what you was about to say, but we're not. I know, but since I know we on LinkedIn right now, we not gonna say too much. We just gonna leave it at that, and we gonna move on. Okay, folks, if you got any questions or anything, please put it in the comments, and we will address it. So I've got fiber too, and God, I love it. I I love it. Right, nothing like having high throughput up and down, and attached to the AT&T fiber that I have, I built my own mesh network internally, so that so I can control connectivity to the different speeds of the internet. So still got my 2.4, and I got my 5 gigahertz connections. So I use this TP Link Deco um, mesh system to say, put the coffee maker on the 2.4, put all the Roku TVs on the 5 gigahertz, put I don't know, well, everything in the studio is on the 5, but anything that's in my wife's office or in the kids' rooms, that's on the other network. That's on the cameras around the house. Those are on the 5. But being able to segment connectivity in the house, even though I've got that high speed connection in and out inside the house, I also like to prioritize specific devices as well. So that was an investment as opposed to an expense. And you see it on the screen right here. This is the one I bought back in February of 2025, $400. But it was an investment as opposed to expense to allow me to be able to segment prior and prioritize various connections within the network. But it just makes sense. Not everyone has to do this, but you will have more peace of mind if you do this. Just because you know exactly what's going in, what's going out, you can control the destiny of what's happening within your with your internet infrastructure at your home.
I like it, and I'm definitely gonna check that out myself. That's
It's the
dope.
one, man. You see it right there, last purchase. So I listen. I'll only talk about the stuff that I actually got the receipts for, and there go my receipts right there. I'm gonna send you the Amazon affiliate link too, so I can get my little $2
I take it.
for making the recommendation. But it has a mobile app, so I can control it. A lot of times when my kids would have friends come over and they want to access the internet, boom, I quickly give it to them, and I can time that as opposed to just they always have access. So you've got access to the internet for 3 hours, and then after that, you gotta ask me again. You gotta be nice to Mister Hicks, kind
You got
of
to go
kind of thing.
home.
You ain't got to, but you can't stay here. You got to go home, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, after that, you no longer have access to this internet and then all this streaming
Right.
capability. So okay,
That's right.
that's the infrastructure. That's some of the tools that you use internally. Have you ever been hit with a ransomware attack yourself? And I say ransomware because I deal with that on a enterprise level, having those types of conversations. So it's you probably haven't because you would be in a much more depressed state if an individual got hit with a ransomware attack as opposed to a large organization.
I haven't. You
Okay.
are correct. But when it comes to security and things like that, a lot of times it comes to what people are comfortable with when it comes to security. Some people are
Mm,
very uh, worried about how their stuff gets hacked and how they get hacked, right? And so one of the ways that people get hacked is a major, company will put software on their computers for their employees, and those employees will get that computer stolen, right? And
hmm.
then there's nothing really you can do um, to that's like all the security in the world can't help you if the company's computers get stolen or their system gets hacked. So a lot of times when our data gets exposed, it's not anything that's on your computer or stuff you do for the most part. Usually it's major corporations that have computers that are stolen, or the employees aren't very good with security, and their systems get hacked. And it's when your data's on these major corporations. Target customers have been hacked multiple times. I don't mean to pick on them, but that's just the one that came to mind. So a lot of times it's not necessarily what you're doing. Sometimes it's bigger companies that have your data where it gets hacked.
Yeah, I think on the individual side, it's more of a phishing attack. It's more
Yes. Now I've
of
seen.
you know you
uh,
get caught up in some of those email scams. You get and they look legit. A lot of times, I mean, just recently, I think it was last week, I got one that looked like it was from Netflix, saying that my account had been terminated for whatever reason, and obviously it was incorrect because it wasn't true, but they look real, and there's a lot of PayPal ones out there as well, or asking for information, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's our seniors that get caught up in a lot of times they're seniors, but they're just folks that aren't paying attention. So let me just make a blanket statement that if you get caught slipping, you can get caught up in a phishing attack as well. That's why it's such a common occurrence, unfortunately. But I tell my parents this all
Yeah,
the time: if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
I almost got caught up in one maybe 2 years ago, because I had bought a computer at Best Buy and we put the protection on it. And so I
Mm.
got an email saying, your protection is going to, lapse if you want to, no, the email said it's going to charge your thing. If you want to cancel it, you got to call this number. And so, I was working real hard and I saw this email and, I was like, oh yeah, we bought the computer. We put the protection on it. Now we don't need it no more. I'm not, you're not going to charge my card. Right. And so, it almost caught me and they were, it was like, I was just something was off with it. It was like,
Yeah,
yeah, you gotta do this, and I was like, no, this is if you have my information, you need to cancel it right now. You don't have to. I don't have to log in anywhere for you to
yeah.
cancel it. Like, And then I realized this ain't right, and
Uh,
I was like, okay. I was
coming
like, yeah,
from some,
you go. I'm not doing that. You go ahead and
you do what you got
do
to
what you
do.
need to do. Yeah,
Coming from an old AOL account, telling you to log into some website. Come on now. See again,
yeah,
if it don't look right, sometimes that spidey sense kicks in, folks, and you got to go with it. Call the actual vendor if you are subjected to one of these types of occurrences as well. If PayPal or if Netflix or Best Buy or someone calls you or emails you or something, call them
yeah.
directly. You know their number.
Ne- Never trust links in an email to major like to PayPal or to your bank. If go to just open up a browser and go to PayPal. Never click on a link in an email to get to any PayPal or bank or anything like that. Um, make sure you just log in. The only time you click on an email is if it's like you logged in and then they're sending you a thing to reset your password. Right. That's typically the only time you
Yeah,
click because it's like
yeah.
click to reset the password. But otherwise be very wary of links to major corporations in from emails.
Uh, That's one of the reasons why and tell me how you feel about this. A little bit off topic, but I stopped doing a lot of PayPal business because for a while I was getting so many fraudulent emails from people pretending to be part of PayPal. Right, I still have it as a payment option for folks, but I don't push that as my primary and as my go to. Right, I would much rather pay the 2% credit card processing through Stripe as opposed to going through PayPal. Both reputable organizations, but man, PayPal is just starting to get a little bit of a blacker eye out there when it comes to moving money back and forth. Who do you
It's it,
use?
it's
You've got your own payment gateways too, though.
I've been doing this a long enough where I have an authorized.net account, I have a PayPal account, I got a Stripe account. So I kind of know the goods and
Yeah,
bads of all of them. There's none that's perfect. If
yeah,
there was one that's perfect, I'd have it. They all have their but when it comes to PayPal, PayPal has been bought and sold several times. So
yeah,
I've been through the changes with PayPal, but I've been with them a very long time. And so I know that they will not send you a link to their site no matter what. So
yeah.
I just that so that never, you know, I don't even register those. The one thing I can say about PayPal, if you're just starting out, the fastest way possible for you to get money in your hand
Mm,
is with PayPal and with their PayPal debit card. Right? Boom, is mine right here. Right? As soon as the money hits your PayPal account, you can spend it on the debit card. Boom. So it is the fastest way to actually spend money if you're just starting out. And sometimes that speed can really help you. The fees are typically the same as Stripe. It's like 2.9% of the transaction and 25 or 35 cents per transaction. They're pretty neck and neck when it comes to that stuff. Um, yeah, PayPal is okay if you just follow their rules and make sure you're doing everything and don't deal with the security the right way. Like try not to click on those links. PayPal is now, I think it's Chase Bank that owns them, but back in the day it was a guy in his garage, right? It just
yeah. It
it
was
just
Elon, right? Well,
okay. There you go. Wasn't it? Yeah, it was a girl
right. So there we go. I'm gonna leave that alone too. But right, it was Elon back in the day.
back in
Okay.
the day. Yeah. But
Wow.
again, it's not. I believe it's Chase, and if I'm wrong, forgive me. But that's who I think is the financial institution behind it. Um, yeah, man, and eBay too. eBay was one of the major companies that started in someone's garage, and then they connected.
I was
And one of the
Elon
ways
too.
you
God,
could.
that man been around everywhere. I say that making fun of all these companies, and literally just now I got my payment from shouts out to Meta. Y'all know how I feel about Meta, and we don't get along. But okay, I got some deposits that went to the PayPal account. That's I'm talking
Yep.
madness about PayPal, but literally as Greg was talking, I got a little okay. Here we go. Squirrel moment there.
Yeah, because
Got me a statement.
most affiliate programs allow you to get paid to your PayPal account, right?
Yeah,
And so again, as soon as that money hits your account, you can actually spend it with that debit card. So the PayPal Business Debit is the fastest way for you
that's the one I
to
got
get
too.
paid.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So I took that, I drug that conversation out quite a bit because I wanted to have some of that context. And the fact that you had a show and tell right there and you actually pulled out your card, I'm not going to show my card. And anybody might screen
the,
grab
the,
the numbers or something. So
the numbers on the back.
they are. That's right. Okay. Okay.
You
Good
can't
man. Good.
see the numbers no more.
I'm paranoid up in these streets, but yeah, that's a good way. Venmo is decent as well. I look for ease of use in terms of creating transactions. So I used to use Cash App when I first started. I don't like Cash App. It's fine for what it is and for back and forth through individuals, but business transactions, I like to have the invoices and I like to have actually that paper trail. So something like Stripe, the PayPal. Um, those are my primary from those perspectives, as opposed to the Venmos and the Cash Apps, and there was another one that was out there as well that it was at the banks, and I
Zelle?
had Zelle. Zelle was
Zelle.
Zelle was horrible when it first came out.
Mm.
I'll tell it. You don't have to tell it. You don't have to put yourself out there. Zelle was was
Listen,
was tough out there, man.
listen. When you're just starting out, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, those are all okay. But for me, like when you start processing online, you need to have a
Yeah.
payment processor.
Yes.
These are for, in my opinion, family
Hmm.
and friends and small one-time transactions. They're not really well. Zelle is because you can do some stuff with Zelle, but Cash App and stuff. Cash App has a debit card too. I don't know if you knew that.
Wow. Okay. Okay. They're getting a little bit better
Yeah,
then. Okay. I'll stop
yeah.
talking. See,
Cash App
this
has a
man.
debit card
God,
too.
dog. I'm talking all this madness, and while I'm doing that, he's going through his stack, ladies and gentlemen. Greg said, "Listen, I got that card. It's almost like we playing spades over here. What is boy?"
There's all sorts of things, and then like the secret is like, how can you can connect your Cash App card to your payment as one of the cards that you can pay using PayPal, and it can pull from your Cash App. So if you have money in Cash App, but you don't have it in PayPal, and you have both of those cards, you can use the PayPal debit card to pay with your Cash App cash.
Okay, so let's bring up some more security conversations as those relate to that. And Rich, I see you, brother. Listen, your mug is right here. I'm looking at it. I, so Rich Vibes here. He won one of my. I'll give you some insight here. He was on Matt Haas's show. Shouts out to Matt Haas. He's supposed to be here today, but he has other engagement. He's a very busy man. Rich Vibes won one of my Focus mugs like months ago. I forgot to send it to him. Rich Vibes lives also across the pond. He's in the UK. You know how much it cost me to send? Okay. Know what the shipping fee is for this 0.5 pound box to send to the UK? Rich, I got you, brother. It's boxed up. Remember last time we talked, I didn't have a box. Now I got a box. It's boxed up. It just needs to be sealed. I'm gonna send it to you before the end of this calendar year. It's coming, brother. It's coming. There gonna be some extra things in it too. So man, so I know. Stay on me though. Keep me right. But Rich is also asking a qualified question as it relates to this conversation to confirm PayPal is now a public company owned by its shareholders. Am I a member? I may have a couple of. No, I don't think I have any
I
shares
just
in.
googled it. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so PayPal was once a subsidiary of eBay, which
Hmm.
was acquired in 2002, but eBay spun off of PayPal in 2015, making it independent. And right now it is publicly PayPal Holdings Inc., which is
Mm.
public shareholders. Yep.
Okay. Look at that. Rich Voss coming through with he's trying to raise his value here by so I don't have to complain about shipping fees from California to the United Kingdom. We'll get you straight though, brother. We get you straight. Back to the security piece about using multiple credit cards, moving money back and forth, two-factor authentication. obviously, and I'm sure I don't want to assume, but I'm assured that you use that and you have that set up on your mobile devices. Talk to us a little bit about what two-factor authentication is for folks who may not know and how you leverage it.
Yes. A love-hate relationship with this whole thing. It stresses me because as someone who works in this digital realm, right? When I have to log into things and I have to then go verify multiple things to get into all the few things I need set up for it, talk about that time and that time re-checking and refining things that I talked about when I first came on the show about those minutes set up. So it frustrates me when I have to like reboot my computer and get logged back into everything because it takes me about 10, 15 minutes to just get back into all the accounts. And part of that reason is because of two-factor authentication. So what it is it is a way for it to verify two ways for you to get into your account. So typically, if you give them a username and password and you hit sign in, it will then give you a screen to say, "Hey, we're going to send a 6-digit code to your mobile device that you have to enter before you can actually get into the account." So the security is great because if someone doesn't have your phone, they'll never get that code, and so they can't get into your account. The frustrating part for me is that now it takes up more time to get into your accounts, right? And so when you work in this and you have to, get all signed back into things, for me, it's frustrating because it takes so much time to get that password, to put that code in. And that's just one. And you have to log into the next thing and it does the same thing. And I like the fact that it's secure. We need it, but boy, is it a time suck and it's frustrating.
I'm laughing because you brought that same energy. And now I will put your business out here. You brought that same energy about this topic when we last week when we were planning this whole conversation. And when I brought up 2FA, Fred about to fall out of his chair, man. He's like, man, it's love-hate relationship. so
Ooh,
so
yeah,
but you
man.
gotta have
So
it.
so
But you gotta have it.
yeah, you go to sign in the Stripe, right?
Yep.
And you get your username, password, boom. Then it sends you a 6-digit code on your mobile device. You got to enter that in. You log into Go High Level, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will ask you, do you want it via email or your phone, right? So you have to put that in. And if you have multiple high level accounts now, now you have to oh man, I'm sorry. It's great, but boy, is it frustrating. And then passkeys were supposed to be a
Yeah.
faster way to do this, which is a whole nother on the top of the two-factor authentication, you have passkeys, which I got locked out of my Amazon account. And you talk about somebody who was
Ooh,
not Amazon, my AWS, which
that's
is
even worse.
Amazon Web Services.
That's even worse. That's real money there. Now you can't make no money.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And just so you guys know, Amazon.com and AWS.com do not they're technically two different companies.
Yes, they are.
Their Amazon support, which you can talk to on the phone, they can't do anything with AWS. And AWS has a loop like for you to get support, you have to log into the account. And I couldn't log into the account. And when I tried to explain that to them, they were like, "Well, there's nothing we can do. We can
Ooh,
do."
man, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. All right, I'm gonna stop picking at the wound there, and we gonna move on from that discussion because I can see him over there. He getting hot, he's sweating already. So we gonna leave
Oh man,
that alone. But I want to do this. I want to circle back, and I want to because there was some started before we went live talking about various platforms, and I don't know if we kind of already touched on it or not. But there was the whole story that you said you had to tell about a platform, LifeLock. Right. And so
yes,
again, bringing it back to
yes,
security and how we access our accounts and how we protect our accounts, the whole umbrella of using password managers, of using two-factor authentication, things like that. LifeLock is a company that a lot of people know about. They do the QVC commercials, so people are looking to trust them. They're owned by Norton now, Norton Antivirus. So Norton has a huge name, a respectable name. But let's talk a little bit and go into your story and your situation with LifeLock and if it's a good or
yes.
bad story. I'm curious to know myself. Talk to us about LifeLock, brother.
Uh, Man, listen, before I tell you this crazy story about life, like let's just talk about life and security because when I'm dealing with clients sometimes and it comes up this topic of internet security and logging into stuff, people get, frustrated, because then you are handing your card to a stranger, to someone who's making less than minimum wage, who will disappear with your card,
Mm,
right? It's like it's like it's just a mind thing, like, yo, if you were that concerned about your information being stolen or your credit card number stolen, you'd probably be more concerned about eating out. And now there are some restaurants that have the little device on the table, Chili's, like that,
yeah,
and you can do it right there. But for the most part, for most restaurants, they still take the card from you and go behind a closed door, or off where you can't see what they're doing with it. So sometimes it's just a matter of comfortability and thinking, like, listen, how comfortable are you with the normal practices of how things are done online? And if you're not comfortable, it may not be that the online thing is that scary. And yes, people have things happen, but people have things happen in real life anyway. And so that what kind of brings me to this story about LifeLock, because this is real life. So this is the real story of LifeLock. So back in 2007, the person who owned LifeLock was a person by the name of Todd Davis. And he would create ads that says, my social security number is, and he'd put his social security out for the world to see. And he was like, you cannot hack my personal account and get my information. And his account was hacked 3 times and they stole all his stuff. They stole his identity 3 times.
that's crazy dope. I remember the
Yeah.
story, and I'm behind the screen laughing, but I had to come back on screen. But I remember the story.
Yeah, if you Google LifeLock owner, you may, like, mine comes up with the actual ad and shows his actual social security number, because he would put this on advertising. He did it in New York City. He did it in major cities, uh, and he put it on billboards. And these young folk, them young hackers are like, oh yeah, there you go, there you go. My social number is, there he is. So we talking about, like, how comfortable are you? This dude was like, I sold it. He became, I believe, either a billionaire or a multimillionaire. So it's like, was it worth you putting it out there, being that bold, right, to end up being a multimillionaire? Like, I think it was, but that's the entrepreneur in me, like, uh, but that's the story. Todd Ho put his stuff, and this is 2007, so this is 20 plus years ago. And again, he sold the company, and Norton owns it now. But that dude was like, "You can't steal my stuff," and his stuff got stolen, and he was still able to sell the company.
Listen, don't stay away from them hackers. Stay away from the crackers. Stay away from the folks. Don't tempt them, because they will find a way. There's some cats. They got some compute farms in their basement that you don't even have to give them the whole social. You just give them the middle two, and they will figure it out. They don't even need the last four. They don't need you give them the middle two, and they can figure it out in a couple of days. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do like this man did. So like Mr. Davis did. But it's a valid story to tell, because again, just being honest and being open about securing our environments and securing our accounts. Again, from a business side, from a personal side, from an entrepreneurial side, for content creation, because we're now, again, we do so much, like when we deal with brands and we deal with opportunities, things like that. It's all that electric commerce. It's all, again, either the PayPal, the Venmo, the Cash App, the Stripe, and things like that. But when funds are flowing freely like that back and forth, protect yourself. Two-factor authentication, master passwords by using something like a LastPass or one password or whatever, or validate. Don't click on nothing that you don't know what it is. That's not proper English,
Yep.
but it sounded good just now. Don't click on nothing.
Don't click on
You know,
nothing.
I'm straight from the country right there, brother. Don't click on it. Don't do that. Um, a lot of it's common sense, but in closing, Greg, tell us again how you're using secure practices for your business, and what's kind of a takeaway that you would give to folks to make sure that they stay secure out here in these digital streets.
Treat your Passwords like car keys. If you want to get from
Sure.
point A to
Okay.
point B, make sure you know how to get into these accounts. Don't waste time trying to figure it out and resetting your password. That time adds up, and as an entrepreneur, we know time is money. So use secure passwords for each and every account. That will, help you out. These password managers will allow you to take, passwords that may have been, the same over and over, and make a unique password for each one. One of the features, and I don't know if the others have this for LastPass, is they will tell you how secure your passwords
Mm.
are in bulk. Like they'll like you have, 67% of your passwords are really secure, but the other percent is not. Those are the other percent where you may have used the same password over and over, or it's a weak password, right? It's a name and a number or something. You can do a name and a date, family members' names. We've all done the things where it's like, oh, what's something I know I'm going to remember. And but long story, it'll give you like how secure all of your stuff is. And so, if you have something like that, you want to make sure you try to get as many secure passwords as you can, and use a password manager that you trust. Try the ones out and find one that's really resonates with you, because I like LastPass and James likes LastPass doesn't mean that LastPass is for you. Maybe
Yeah.
one password is better for you, and maybe RoboForm is better for you. Find the one that's you're going to actually use, and then stick with it. Try not to jump, because to go from one to another, stick. If you got one and you like it, stick with it. If one comes out with a feature, pretty much 9 times out of 10, the others will add that feature within a year or so, because they're all competing and they don't want to have lose business to another company because it doesn't have the same feature. Uh, so with that, again, just access to getting to this account, save time and security by having a password manager, and just be diligent. Be careful about actually clicking on links in email. If you get a message for anything from any of these major companies, from banks, financial institutions, just open up a browser window, type it in yourself, and go log into your account. Don't use any links. And so
Yeah.
that is how you stay safe in these internet streets.
Man, I should be quiet because that was a perfect closing. But y'all know I can't be quiet. Um, this is what we're gonna do because I like that so much, and it made me think of kind of maybe the next conversation that we could have. We could talk about data governance, data security, backup, and archive. I
Oh
think I
yes,
think that needs to be a conversation as well, not just relying on your local storage that's in your home office or on your local laptop or anything, and not also putting everything in just iCloud, Google Cloud. Have multiple options. Have insurance for
yes.
the have a backup for the backup. So there we go. We just
That's
gonna
yep,
sprinkle that right
yep.
there. And next time, next second week of the month, when Matt Haas is available, we'll have the three amigos here, and we'll talk about data governance, data security, backup, and recovery. I could I could mess around and do a
I got it.
whiteboard on that.
I found I found the information on Todd from LifeLock. He sold it for 2.3 billion
Wow.
to Semantic. They went to Semantic, which is Norton. Yeah, 2.3 billion. So was it worth getting hacked several times? 2.3 billion? I don't know. You
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 tell
decide.
me, boy. Some of that math
Yeah,
ain't mathing, but that's a B in front of that, and
you know.
I know he doing okay today. I know he
I,
probably changed his name. He's probably no longer Todd Davis. He's probably Mark Davis, and he got him a new social because
yes, he changed all of that.
that
He
four
changed
five
all of that.
seven 5462, which is all over the internet. I'm looking at it on Wikipedia right now. We all know that, and Greg Russell, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for your expertise. I'm already looking forward. This was a great discussion, but I'm already looking forward to the next one when we talk about again, data governance, backup recovery, security, and things of that nature, because I think that's a good next step in terms of the conversation. And uh, hopefully we can bring some value to folks to come to the conversation then. Folks,
Yes,
if
sir.
you did find value, let us know. If you did not find value, please let us know as well, as we continue to iterate, continue to get better here on the Technologist Forum. Until next time, we are out. Y'all be good to yourself, and we'll talk to you next time.